Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. This is episode 83. 83. I would kill for it to be 83 degrees right now, because it has been hot in California lately. I mean, extremely, excruciatingly hot. So hot it's been unbearable to go get the mail. It's been unbearable to go out to your car, to turn on your car, just to get into your car to go to work, and then pump that AC. The walk to the car is a trial by fire. Living in California right now is a trial by fire, literally. It's not also very encouraging if you're a person that likes to get their news updates on the local news, and then you see the 7-day forecast and all they put in, to be funny, to be cute, to be fancy. They'll drop in like fire flames on the days where it's going to be super, super hot. I've always thought that was, extremely off-putting as a person who has to go outside or has to be somewhere not air-conditioned, right? You see that and you're like, oh, shit, I'm going to die today. Or it's like I'm going to be on the surface of Mercury. Like, this is pleasant. This is fun, But I get it, they got to tell you what's happening, what's a part of the current events. Has your local store been robbed or burglarized? How is the school football team doing? How are we looking? Local news has always been, somewhat of a joke to me, yet also super, super, super reliable, and actually very, very important. It's lame because you see how bad your community can achieve, how you can see how badly how bad they can get. And the nature of news is the bad news gets all the headlines, and the news that isn't so good is what we want to see and what we want to be aware of. We want to know that the local gas station was burglarized. That way I don't go there. It's going to be shut down for a little bit for an investigation. It's good for me to know that, to not go there. But it's also like, dang, who would rob that place? Or who would burglarize that place? And then you see more and more stuff, like this person got in a car accident. There was a hit and run here. It's just like, yeah, shit, my town kind of sucks. My community is not that great. It's very off-putting, where it shouldn't be. But I get it. That's the nature of the news. We gotta know what's going on. And every now and then you'll get a feel-good story of a teacher that you probably knew, a principal that you probably, knew as well, doing something pretty good. Pretty good. And then you'll hear about something tragic that from someone that you knew when you were very young. And they're like, oh no, that happened? Man. And then you're like, the local news has it all, man. It has it all. It has people that you grew up with potentially on it every day. Places that you grew up around in it every day. That's why it's a beautiful thing. It's informative, yet embarrassing. And it's a weird combination because it's almost like you don't want to watch it. But when you do, it's like, okay, all right, expected. Now I'm prepared for the day. The best is when you find out the traffic reports, which freeway, which off-ramp is being closed or worked on or yada, 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 accidents. That's the best. because then you plan your day around that entire thing. Then you're like, okay, if I leave a little bit earlier and I take this route, I should be able to get to work on time and not have to deal with the traffic as much if I left at this time. That's when the local news is clutch. Give me that traffic report. Also the weather as well. Sometimes I forget to check the weather on my phone. I only check the weather on my phone when I hear someone say what the weather is. People will say, it's going to be hot today. I'm like, no shit. And I check my phone and I'm like, shit, he's right. I'm not the person that wakes up and checks their phone for the weather, every day. It just kind of escapes my mind. I always hear about it from someone that I know. Friend, family member, coworker, it doesn't matter. That's where I hear it, and then I check it. And I'll tell you this, I have not been a well user of the Apple iPhone weather app. I used to be, and then I got rid of it because it wasn't as accurate as the Weather Channel app. When I got the Weather Channel app, it had a bunch of more data than the Apple one. It had radar, it had a 10-day forecast, precipitation, humidity index, visibility index, pollen. It had all that. And then, I think it was around maybe like 2020, 2019, the Apple one got a revamp and actually started using the Weather Channel's data. And then I was like, okay, well, I can just delete Weather Channel then, I'm done with that. Because the thing is that Weather Channel, that bullshit app, as absolutely reliable as it has been for me, is an ad monster. I mean, I would use it. I would love to use it every single day of my life. But the fact that it's just a built-in ad is just killer for me. It's like, what do I have to do to get Weather Channel with no ads? I just want to know what the day is going to be like. Do I need to wear a coat, pants, shorts, a t-shirt, sweater? What do I have to wear? I don't want to be all of a suddenly bombarded with things I don't even want or need. And it's been a while since I had the app. I can't remember the bullshit apps or ads that they would have on that app, because it was like a bad experience. You just push it out of your mind and you want to forget about it. You really do. And that's how most of these apps have become now. I guess I'm being targeted by certain games on the phone, on smartphones, I guess. I'm literally being targeted of what the overlords or the algorithm or Mark Zuckerberg thinks that I want, that I will play. And it's these games where you're a little guy and you got to go through a couple hoops, and then you're being chased by something, or you're fighting an enemy coming head on, and you have to get through the right hoops to get the right people to fight off whatever waves you're going through. And then once you fend off that wave, you move on to the next wave. Think of it like a running game, like Temple Run, where you can't stop running. It's just moving forward. One of those basic old phone games. And I actually decided to, you know what? I'm going to download this one right now and see what this is all about. Is it really just an ad? Is it a fun game? Is it a hoax? So I downloaded it. Now, I can't remember the name of it, but I think it might have been like Running Man or something like that, or Race to the Finish, or something stupid like that. But I got it, and I can't lie to you. It was pretty fun, except one thing. Every wave you beat, there is a non-skippable 30-second ad for either a casino app, a blackjack app, or some other type of gambling app. Every single time. for every wave you complete. And you couldn't skip it. You had to wait and let it finish. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm out of here. I'm out. And I was just so disappointed because I fell for such a stupid thing. A stupid eye candy, an eye grabbing advertisement on YouTube and social media that I was like curious enough to see what it was all about. And, I got catfished, essentially, by an app. Oh, come play with me. Come see what I'm all about. You want to get to know me? It was like that. I'm like, hey, sure, yeah, okay, all right. Let's see what you're all about. And I got, played. Catfished. Hoodwinked. Bamboozled. Led astray. Not fun for your boy. But you know what? That actually, affirms the point that these ads are working. I've had it built into my brain now to deny advertisements, to deny ads, to just say no to ads. That should be the campaign. That should be a commercial, an ad about denying ads. Just say no. As much as they look appealing to you, as much as the games look fun, as colorful as they can be, as what's the word I'm looking for? Stimulating as it may be, as entertaining as it might look, just say no to ads. Just say no to ads and ad infused phone games, because they're no good. They're bullshit. I'm just happy that Apple has a dope ass security system that they purge all the apps that have viruses and malware and Chromium in them to infect your phone. Not a lot of people know about this, but Android phones don't have the same type of security technology that iPhone phones do, or iPhones have. It's pretty incredible, because you can download apps on the Android store that are not verified by Android or whatever that puts them out there, that contain viruses and bugs and malware. And if you get the wrong one, if you get a bad app, it'll fuck up your phone. That's why, knock on wood, Apple, with their baller security and their intense app store, not security, but the, what it takes to be on the Apple App Store. And you can't be no phony. You can't be no crook. You got to be legit, Thank God for Apple. Thank God for their security, because, I don't even download that many apps nowadays, because I've got my set apps and I'm good, for life. I don't download any more games or download any other social media apps. I pretty much have what I got is all I need. And unless like some big, app, game, social media platform, whatever it is, starts sweeping the nation and is like, everybody's doing it. It's the new trend. It's the new fad. It's what's in today. Maybe I'll check it out. But if it's not that, I'm not going to get it, So kind of back to the weather. I was actually let down a couple days ago. It reached, I believe, 113, 114 where I live. It was very hot. And I wasn't thinking about the heat, really. I was already inside. I was chilling. I was gaming. I was having fun. And I get this alert on my phone, like, the TV alerts when there's a inclement weather event. It's like, it gets all freaky and scary. It's like right before the end of the world, you get this alert. Well, I didn't know that the iPhones had that installed in them, that, whoever sends them out, everybody receives it, essentially. And I was like, before I looked at my phone, I heard the noise in my earbuds. And I was like, uh-oh. And immediately I'm like, either meteor, Yellowstone blue, San Andreas, or alien attack. And I'm thinking, like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, let's go. Let's go. I'm ready. Are you? I'm like, I was so ready for what I was about to read. Or like, someone attacks our country. Like, I was ready. I was ready. And then I looked at my phone, and it was some candy ass alert saying, essentially, it's hot, conserve energy so the power doesn't go out. I was like, what the fuck? Do they not know how hot it gets here every summer? I get it. Like, the past couple days were super, super hot. But, I mean, where I live, it's pretty much predictable every year, Why are we even having these alerts? Why is our power grid being stretched so thin? We get hot every year. We get excruciatingly hot every year. Like, this shouldn't be a problem anymore, right? I mean, look, I'm no expert on electricity or power or even AC units or even swamp coolers. I don't know how those work, but, I imagine that in the year 2022, we should not be having these power outages because people want to keep their house cool. It just seems kind of silly to me. I mean, I could see back in the 99, 2001, but in 2022, I mean, come on now. Now, I'm not trying to get into the politics of PG&E and all that, but maybe get better, maybe be better, maybe strive for greatness, as LeBron James says, or strive to be cool. How about that? Let's make it cool. Let's make PG&E cool. Keep it cool, man. Keep us cool. Keep California cool. But it looks like the weather's going to be dipping down in these next couple of days into the next week, which is lit because, I don't want to keep getting alerts on my phone that, hey, it's going to be hot. Make sure you conserve energy. Don't use any heavy appliances and wait till 9 p.m. to do all that stuff. I'll be actually happy, once these alerts stop and I not see fire on the weather forecast on the local news. Like, I'm ready to not see that no more. I'm actually ready to see the snowflake or the icicles. When they put the icicles or the snowflake, if it's going to be super cold, that'll be cool. I would love to see that. I mean, it is fall. It's going to happen sooner rather than later. It's just, this is summer's last grip. Its last hurrah. Its final stand before it becomes fall. Summer will fall, and fall will rise. That was super lame, but it kind of made sense. If these seasons are battling for control of the Earth's climate, summer will fall and fall will rise. Kind of, how is that not like a part of like some kind of entertainment, like some kind of media? Has anybody written anything where seasons battle each other or seasons have a major arcing moment in some kind of conflict? I'm not talking about like the day after tomorrow or 2012 or anything like that, like a disaster movie, but some kind of movie where, I don't know, the weather really impacts the story and it's not like a disastrous thing, not like a global warming type story, but like, something fun and that people will enjoy and that people will be like, hey, this is kind of cool, Well, I guess Day After Tomorrow was kind of cool, because the characters, for the most part survived. And now we were in a new ice age, which was like, in that movie, like kind of also like, hey, you shouldn't be really, clapping that much because, the entire northern hemisphere is under snow. Like, where are you going to go? I guess you can go down south to Mexico, South America, Africa, but it's like, what? That entire part of the country is under snow. Like, your entire life is about to change, probably for the worst in these first couple years of that. I would assume that, everything's going to be pretty bad, and you're cheering like, yeah, we got out, which I agree is an accomplishment of your courage and your valor and your, will to survive. What was funny was, the at the very end of that movie, they were straight up they were like the characters, at the very end when they're running from the eye of the storm, they're straight up like running away from the wind or like cold air. Like the air is not as fast as Jake Gyllenhaal's running speed. Isn't that crazy? That's so funny. But hopefully that never happens. That would be very sad. That would ruin a lot of things. It would ruin a lot of parties and sports and movies that I wouldn't want to be ruined. It'd just be a really, really bad thing to happen. But not as bad, I think, as what seems to be a fallout in Hollywood between the cast of Don't Worry, Darling. Now, again, I'm a huge conspiracy theorist. Of the fun kind, by the way. The fun kind. Bigfoot, UFOs, Nessie, Area 51. I love that shit. I love it. And with this Don't Worry, Darling movie premiering at Cannes, or Venice, sorry, not Cannes, the Venice Film Festival, there was a video that surfaced around the internet a couple days ago of what appeared to be the two stars of the movie, Harry Styles and Chris Pine, involving the two guys. In the video, Chris Pine is applauding, I would assume, Harry Styles, maybe introduced or presented, and they're clapping. And as Harry Styles is making his way to his seat to sit down, it appears that Harry Styles' mouth and the position of his head and where it goes, it dips. Like the bird who dips his water into the water cup. And that, because of the physics of that, it keeps doing that. He kind of does that, and you can see in the replay him kind of tighten his lips to make a spitty face, and to how you expel liquid from your mouth. He makes that motion with his mouth, and you don't see the projectile come out of his mouth. You don't see it. But Chris Pine's reaction is what has me puzzled, because he's clapping, and then he stops clapping, and the look on his face is like he's appalled. Like he cannot believe what happened, what had just happened. And he stops clapping. And then you kind of see to Chris Pine's right, Olivia Wilde kind of looks on and sees like they're starting up again. Like, don't do this. Don't make a scene. Don't do this. Please, relax, calm down. Not now. And look, Chris Pine has come out and said that he did not spit on him. That he did not, and he said it in like a very political way, saying like, I can't believe people would, I'm paraphrasing it, by the way, like make such foolish accusations about something that would happen between two people who, very much like each other, and this is completely untrue. All you had to do was say, none of that happened. Like that actually did not happen. But, you kind of had a political answer. So it kind of like feels like, okay, like if he didn't spit on you, can't you just say that he didn't spit on me? Like, why do you have to make it such a weird, clearly like written up answer for him to say by his publicist. I don't know. It just puzzles me. And I listen, like it looks like by his reaction that he was spat on, that he was spit on, and he did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. Credit to Chris Pine for being calm and cool and collected in that situation, because I don't know a lot of people who will take that lightly. Spitting on another man, and just, a person to person, like spitting on one person, has got to be some of the most vile and disrespectful acts a human could do on another human. When someone spits on you, they think of you as low as the ground, or they just think of you as very, very low, like low as dirt. When you spit on someone, that to me is a big, like, all right, that's it. I don't like you. I don't respect you. And it could end up in, violence just because of the nature of being spit on. It's really disgusting too. I mean, germs and all, and just the action is just like the person who does the spitting does not care about you at all and is willing to do something so gross and disgusting as much as spitting. So I don't know. It baffles me. It puzzles me. And you know what? It seems far too real to be fake, to drum it up, to make it seem like, okay, this movie needs publicity. Let's start some shit. I just feel like, I know that they're actors. I know their job is to act, and I know that, maybe they could be swayed into doing some stuff to make the movie sell tickets, or, to push tickets. But I feel like it's too real for that. And, just a person who can read body language and can read, human interaction pretty well, it seems too real to be fake or staged, So I'm going to call real on this. I'm going to go full on real. That this beef is completely real. That these people probably hate each other. And look, from the tape, you can't see anything come out of his mouth. You can't see nothing, which is so telling. But it's like, why would he make that facial expression? Why would he make that body language? It just seems like like something definitely happened. Maybe it was so small that the camera couldn't catch it, but something must have happened. Maybe he said something. Maybe they have some kind of code. Maybe he's in on something. I don't know. But for any person to, unless like Chris Pine is like coked out of his mind, right? Or drugged up out of his mind, which looking at his appearance, he might have been, I don't know. He's a Hollywood actor. He probably was just there to get a check and that's it. It's like, all right, if I'm going to be here, I'm going to be a little lit. I'm going to be sprinkled up. I'm going to be like fully barbecued. All right. But I'll be there. I don't know. I really don't know, but it's a puzzling thing. It's puzzling because this has kind of become a conspiracy now. The Spitgate. And I know I'm a little late on this, but it just fascinates me. And I heard that the movie was just okay. So maybe it's like, we need drama. We need to keep feeding the fire because we need people to see this movie. And I've heard that there's like different teams of this situation. There's Team Olivia Wilde and Harry Styles, and then there's Team Chris Pine and Florence Pugh, or Miss Flo, and then it's just like a big, split. It's a war between these two. Because I guess I didn't know this. I did not know that Harry Styles was dating Olivia Wilde. That's actually wild to me. I had no idea. I thought she was dating Jason Sudeikis, but I guess I'm out of the loop that bad. and I think they divorced, or they're in the process of it, which is, incredibly sad. I mean, like, love is dead. Love died, and one relationship is pretty sad. I mean, it's nothing to just say like, oh yeah, it didn't happen. It's sad. I mean, these two people had kids together. They've been together for, like, I think a decade. I think so. Like, seeing them split is like, whew, that must suck. Poor Jason. Poor Olivia. Poor their children. It's just not a good situation. I'm a big fan of love. I've said this many times. When love is dead, it hurts. It does hurt. When J-Lo dumped A-Rod, that was sad. It was very sad. And then she decided to marry Ben Affleck. Like, was that because out of love or because of the status? Who knows? If they stay together for like 30 plus years and like they grow old together, and then we're there when they get old and someone passes, but they're still, they were still in love and they always were happy, then it's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Fuck A-Rod in that sense. But now it feels so weird. It feels off. But yeah, that whole situation though, it feels off. It feels weird. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel true. That's what a lot of people are saying about this new show, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. I'm here to talk about that. I'm here to give you my thoughts on the highly, highly, highly anticipated and highly budgeted new series on Amazon Prime Video, The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. The first 2 episodes have come out last week. And I'm here to give you my thoughts on these first 2 episodes. I'm going to go through this spoiler-free. That way you have nothing to worry about. If you plan to watch it, if you plan to seek it out, or even, see it, you don't have to worry about me spoiling anything. I'm not going to spoil a thing. I'm just going to give you my thoughts off the top of my head, what I thought of these 2 episodes, and moving forward, not what I expect, but how I will look at the future episodes off of these 2 episodes that we've already seen, or for that, what most people have already seen. So impressions going into it. Like I've said before on previous episodes, I was always on board for the visuals of this show. I was always on board. I thought that the scope of the show from the very first trailer was grand and massive. Immediately you get that sense with the first teaser, and then the teasers after that, and even the main trailer and all that stuff. You get the grandness of that. The grandness, the epicness, and just the sheer scope and size of this series. And right off the bat, in these first 2 episodes, you could actually see the budget on the screen. Like, this show looks absolutely incredible. And I'm talking about literally every single shot, every frame, every scene, every sequence looks and sounds incredible. Like it's like I believe that they shot this in Middle Earth, or places in New Zealand that you've never even seen before, or even in the entire planet that you've never seen before, and that they filmed this on location and in some green screens, but with just a bunch of extras, the production value of every single set. I swear to you, man, they made a small village, a small rundown village in this show, just like in some plains, in some fields, look so good and so realistic and so like lived in and run down, and just like not like looks disgusting or bad, but just like you can tell that this entire world is being lived in. That's what I felt watching this show. And in every single scene that I'm talking about, every shot and every frame, every sequence, every scene, everything looks tip-top shape. Like, you can tell that the budget is there. And that also goes for costumes, props, everything, weapons, bows and arrows, everything in armor, every single thing in this show visually looks amazing. Truly, like it just looks incredible. And you can't help but be like, "Oh my god!" Like it just looks unbelievable. It looks better than like any show that I've ever seen out there in terms of, like I said, production value. It just looks amazing. You really can't. It's hard to miss. Like like if anybody was gonna pick something out of this show that stands out to you, it's just the sheer look of the show. It just you can't deny it. It just looks incredible. Aside from that, aside from obviously it's going to look good, a lot of money's been put into it. The rumor is that one season of this show cost $1 billion. That's the rumor. I don't know if that's the official budget, but that's what we're just going to go with that for now. So you can tell that the budget's there with everything. And like I said, I knew it was going to look good, but I didn't know what the show was going to be about. I didn't know what was going to be, besides Galadriel, Elrond, Durin, some Harfoots. What is this show really about? I knew it takes place in the Second Age. If you don't know, it's like the age before the Lord of the Rings, the age before man, like when the dwarves and the elves were like at the heights of their power. Again, this is before the kingdoms of men really ascended, besides Numenor. So we're getting like a very younger version of Middle-earth and like the races that were prominent and powerful before men, like before Gondor, before Rohan, before all those other places. And we get a sense of that. The show does a very, very good job, I think, in it's laying out the land of what has happened and where we are now. I truly think that's actually one of the best parts of the show is laying out where we are in this universe, where we are in Middle-earth at this time. And I think that if they didn't get this right, and if they didn't plot it out and give you a good prologue that they do in this show and a good layout, I would have been completely lost. But I'm not, which is a good thing, because I feel like it's super easy to follow, and I know where we are. And I think that the show did a very good job at plotting where our characters are, where they're from, and you can get a sense of where they're going, where their story is going to continue. And that's done very, very well in the first episode, and it even leads on into the second episode. A couple standouts that I will say. I absolutely love Elrond in this show. I don't know what it is about him, but his wisdom and his calmness and his cool-headedness and just everything about this character of Elrond in this show, I love. I don't know what it's just like. It just feels like a very wise young elf who has been around. He knows things. He knows how the world works, and he's just he's very stoic, and he's just been around the block, and he wants to collaborate, and he wants to expand, and he wants to really give his race of elves the potential to move forward in this time. He believes in the elves. Everything about him, I think, is just is so good in this show. Another standout, I'll be honest with you, I was going into this not thinking that I won't like these characters, and I ended up liking them. And it's the Harfoots. And I've said it before. I called them homeless hobbits. They have trash in their hair. They look dirty. They look like they're homeless. I really, I absolutely enjoyed these guys' absolute positive vibes on the world, and they're absolutely pure joy, happiness. You can feel that these guys are the ancestors of the Shire hobbits. I mean, I got that feeling with their positivity, how they, live, where they live, their community, their sense of pride and family, and being together, being just one nation, as Harfoots under the foot, under the hole. I got that. And I thought that I wasn't going to get that in the show, that they probably wouldn't have focused that much on the Harfoots and maybe just made them like the kind of childish attraction. Like, the kids are going to love these guys because they're so lighthearted and so fun to watch and just uplifting, stuff like that. But they're like uplifting for, I think, anybody who will watch the show and give it a chance. Yeah, I could definitely see how these guys eventually go to the Shire and become the hobbits that we know and love. I just kind of see it, even though they probably aren't, in terms of what happens or the canon or whatever. You can definitely see the influence, right? You can definitely see how they will influence the hobbits of the Shire to act and to, just the sense of community and the love of their people, So I actually thought that was pretty fun to watch. I love their positive vibes. Their sense of community. It was just so fun to see that, and really fun to see the lightheartedness of hobbits. It was just so cool to see. Couple other standouts. I enjoy what they're doing with this entire conflict of Sauron and what's happening with him lurking behind the scenes and the shadows and the rumors. I really like how it's being built up, and how it's being little hints here, hints there, things about that, and how it's all kind of being pieced together as you watch the show, and how it's one like a trail of breadcrumbs, lack of a better term, to picture how Sauron is still the evil. And this isn't a spoiler, right? This is, it's mentioned in every trailer. Sauron is back and all that, which is one of the coolest parts in that prologue at the beginning, is seeing how that unfolds. It's freaking awesome. I think I'm not even I'm not a hater of Galadriel. I'm really not. I'll tell you this. You have to realize that this show takes place thousands of years before The Lord of the Rings and before The Hobbit. So I am absolutely in the belief of character development and character growth within that time. And, how these characters, end up being the characters in the movies. Well, maybe not fully, true to that because of rights and all that and stuff like that. But you can see little fragments of the characters from the movies and then the characters in this show, here and there. I can see how with years and time this character becomes that character in the movies from the show. I just see it. And I definitely see that with Galadriel and Elrond and these other characters that we're going to be introduced to in the next few episodes, and how that's going to be played out. And then the mystery of the meteor also, and how that's going to be fleshed out, how that's going to be discovered, what's going to happen with that. It definitely leaves you on a cliffhanger after episode 1 and especially episode 2. It's like, whoa, what the hell? What's going on here? It's definitely intriguing. If not like absolutely satisfying to you, the show is definitely going to be intriguing of how all this stuff works. And especially who that person is who landed in the meteorite in Middle Earth. Like, because it's like, that's going to be a big, big, big story, I think. A big plot point. And how they go about that, I'm not sure. But it definitely has me intrigued. And it definitely has me wanting more. That's what I want. That's really what I want, is I just want more of this show already. I know it's going to come out in a couple days, but like, definitely something to keep your eye out on. Definitely something to keep your eye on. I think it's really good. I really do. I've seen both episodes twice already because I actually wanted to go back and rewatch them, because there was just something that I needed to see. I had the sense like I need to see this again. Not because I was like puzzled or because I was confused about it. Just I wanted to watch it again because there's just some like really like cool stuff about it. Like just like interactions with like characters and scenery and shots and even dialogue. It just feels to me like Lord of the Rings. I don't know what I can't really explain it, but if you've seen the movies as many times as I have, and you know everything about them, when I watch this, I'm like, whoa, like it really does give me that Lord of the Rings feel. And I'm not being a shill or being biased. And I haven't read Tolkien, but I have seen the movies. But I really do get that feel. And it's really hard for me to process it. Like, I'm not coming into the show as wanting to hate it like a lot of people are. I'm also not coming in to be like a shill, but I'm just kind of like in the middle, I think. I'm in the middle of Middle Earth. And I think that's pretty good, man. I really do. And I think that if you actually come into it with little to no expectations, you might actually end up liking it like a lot. I feel like if you come into it with little to no expectations, you might like it quite a bit. I'm just going to put that out there. And I feel like with the story that they're setting up and what I've seen in trailers and TV spots, commercials and all that, I think this season's going to be pretty freaking lit, bro. Pretty freaking lit. Like, I'm actually excited for this show. As I'm excited for like House of the Dragon and all that too, but like I'm excited to see like where this show takes us and to what places that we will see that are familiar from the movies. Like this is going to be a spoiler, I guess. But you see Khazad-dûm, which is, a place that is referenced to in the Lord of the Rings. I believe that those same mines in the movie are the mines in this show. I mean, that's that. I mean, like, and you see it in a completely different era, in a completely different time. And it's like, whoa, this is how it was, or that it was portrayed in Tolkien. Like, this is insane. It's just super cool. And it's super nerdy too. I get it. Like, this is some nerd shit right here, but this is some nerd shit that I actually like. It's super cool though. I think you should give it a shot if you want to, see something that I think is very different, but also like has so much of the same beats and rhythm and look to it that it's like, all right, like I'm on board. Like, it's a completely different story, for sure. But it's so, like, to me, it just feels so familiar. Like, just like the dialogue, the way things are, the way it kind of looks, the way that the characters behave with one another, everything, it just seems so familiar, but a completely different story. So I'm enjoying it, man. I'm liking it quite a bit. I can't wait for the next episode. I'm excited. I really think that's going to be freaking epic. I get that sense that this is going to like end off the first season so well that you actually, I feel like if you're on the fence about it, if you've seen it and you're not liking what you're seeing, I think it will dramatically just get better. I think it will gradually get better to the fact that it's like, all right, like I like this. I think it will. From these first 2 episodes, I see nothing but positives after. I really do. I think that they've really built something here that can be an intriguing and entertaining story that I think that people will really, really like. I really, really do. I just hope people give it a shot and not go into it wanting to hate it because of, reasons that vary. It's never, I just think that, you could go into a show and not wanting to watch it because you think that the shit that they put out for it, like trailers and commercials, looks bad. Fair. But if you're not wanting to watch it because someone on the internet says you shouldn't watch it because it makes them feel one way, a certain way, and that way being mad about it and being untruthful, which I completely see that. I see that argument. I truly do. And that you should be able to express that. You should be able to express that. But if you're in the middle like me, and you don't know the lore, and you don't know the exact stories of the books, the appendices, whatever, if you don't know all that stuff like me, I think that you should give it a shot yourself. Instead of seeing what this person says, and taking what they say and forming it as your own opinion. Give it a shot yourself. If the trailers really didn't vibe with you and you don't want to see it, fair. But I think that you should give it a chance, even though that you believe whoever says one thing or the other, and you strongly are behind that. I still think you should give it a shot. I still think that you should, because you might end up liking it. You really will. You probably could. You probably could. But that's The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. My thoughts. I really enjoy it a lot. There's one scene to me that seemed a little cheesy, a little cheap. It was a fight scene, and the characters look kind of floaty. They look kind of floaty in it. I was like, ooh, they ain't looking too good. But, it can get better. It'll get better. I presume it will get better. But overall, I'm pretty positive on it, man. I'm pretty positive on it. I guess the fact of me not knowing what it was going to be completely about also helped. Having very little expectations and very little insight to what the story was going to be about, and just watching it unfold itself, for me, made it even better. It made it even so much better. So those are my thoughts on The Rings of Power. The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Before I leave y'all, I want to give you a little bit of a little more nerd shit. Stick with me here, please. A little bit more to end this episode, because I feel like that this needs to be addressed. And I feel like I got to speak my mind on this, because again, like The Rings of Power, again, like the every sort of medium out there, every sort of entertainment out there, there is going to be opinions. And whether your opinion is because you're a prisoner of the moment and you just feel this way and you have to get it out, and then obviously it might change over time. You're in that position, or, you're going to, sit back, let it marinate for a little bit, and then give your full opinion. Now, because I have such the, luxury of having this podcast and having it drop on Thursdays, I get a little bit of a break when breaking news kind of happens, or shattering news happens. In the world of gaming, especially in the world of Halo, there's been quite the divide and quite the how do I say this? The absolute loss of trust and the loss of what it seems to be the loss of a game, in fact, in the eyes of people who are bored, who feel that the creators of this game have gotten lazy, have become uninspired, and have just, for lack of a better term, seemed like they've given up. Have seemed like they've given up. And I'm talking about Halo Infinite and the state of where this game is. So they've released an update, a dev update, if you will, last week. And I didn't really pay too much attention about it because I was busy, and then I heard about it, and I'm like, well, what did they say? And then they were saying, like, my friend actually texted me about it. I was unaware about it when it happened, and I kind of wasn't really thinking about it either, too, when he texted me about it. But, like, I've gotten around to seeing the full dev announcement, the dev update, and what they plan to do, and how they're planning to move forward. And at the moment, it's not looking good. In fact, like, this game has so little content and so little, it just like stuff in it that makes people want to play it. It's pretty sad. It's actually really sad. I've seen how bad player counts have been, like just how many people play the game on their servers. It's not very good. There's not many people playing it. A lot of people have like I've said, no trust for the developers of this game. And I completely see their absolute points. I really do. For instance, this update that's going to happen on November 8th. It's not really a new season, just called a winter update. It's going to come with a Forge beta, a 30-tier battle pass, which is going to be free, co-op campaign, and then a couple new maps that are going to be in this winter update. And this winter update is supposed to last from November 8th to March 7th. Again, this is not a season. We're currently in Season 2 of Halo Infinite. And from what they've said in this update, in this dev update, is that Season 3 will actually be launching on March 7th, 2023. Now, of course, when you hear that, like when I heard that, I couldn't believe what I heard. Truly couldn't. I thought that these guys, they essentially killed their game. And right now they did. Their game is dead right now. For now, though. It's dead for now. But, players will come back. I truly believe that. I mean, I will come back. I've stopped playing it, right now. But I will come back. I firmly believe that I will. But the argument that Halo is dead, you're correct. You don't have to preach it. You don't have to tell them that. You don't have to type it in a comment or tweet about it. Halo Infinite right now is fully dead. I mean, if you just base it on player counting, like 3,000 players at a time, that's a dead game. They're dead in the water. They're actually dead in the water right now. But they won't be dead for long. And I think that's what I'm kind of where I'm at right now. Is like, yes, they're dead, but they will be back. Like, and everybody goes for the outrage. Everybody wants to click on the bad headline, the bad video, the bad stuff, and I'm part of that too, right? I love to rant about that stuff, and I've already said for many, many weeks now that Halo Infinite is such a bad game right now, and such a bad state, and just bad vibes all around. They're bad. But after listening to that or watching that dev update and really digging into what they're trying to do and what they're trying to build upon, for one, they're actually doing something, or it seems like they are going to be trying to implement a what they call season, I believe, regularity, which is making seasons more seasons in less time. Like, they want to have more seasons than the 2 that we've already had, that we're in right now since launch. They think that it's embarrassing that we've only had 2 seasons and they've been pretty mediocre at best, which I think a lot of players and fans would agree that it's been pretty fucking lame. It has been. So they've addressed that, and I believe that. And what I got out of that was they want to make it so once Season 3 actually happens, once it begins in March, that will begin what it seems to be like more seasons more regularly, which is a good thing. It's a good thing, but it's like you took like over a year and a half to do that. It's like it just becomes like a headache almost, because of course we want the game to be good. We want it to be the best that it can be, and it seems like they are going to try to make it the best that it can be. But I can't get over the fact of how much effort or how little effort that they put into this game, as long as it has been out. It just seems like it was just like, what are you guys doing? And for the future, I would hope that this would go away. Now, obviously, you kind of have to take into consideration the COVID-19 pandemic and all that stuff for, delays and pushbacks and season delays and all that. You have to take that into consideration. But I feel like after that, this kind of can't happen again. Like this really can't be a reoccurring thing with this studio in 343 Industries. At this point, I feel like the community, the fans, the gamers themselves have such a bad relationship with this studio. Like, and it might be beyond full repair at this point. If you can get a couple badass seasons in, put in new guns. I mean, we're going to be getting the essentially the DMR in Season 3, which, if you think about it, nearly 2 years of playtime, nearly 2 years of being on, being out there in the world, and one new weapon is kind of embarrassing. I mean, like, there's no way around it. It's embarrassing, especially because you have a plethora of guns to put into this game that you have not put in. I will say that the lack of maps still is very disappointing. But my friends and my brother have told me that once Forge really takes off, there's just going to be a bunch of community maps, which, has been happening in Halo games since Halo 3, I think, maybe even before that. Really, really blew up in Halo Reach. So it's like, that's just kind of how, like, they can be lazy while putting in a pretty cool feature. And I'll just not give a fuck about maps anymore. Which is, if it makes the community, as a whole happier that they can, do Forge and put out maps and publish maps, I guess that's a good thing, but it's also, kind of makes it seem like the developers are just becoming lazier and lazier. I don't know. That's just my feel. The lack of maps has been pretty bad. The modes have been decent, not great. But, it's just like, you have to look forward now because, like I've said, this game is dead. It has been dead. But if they keep with their promises, if they keep saying that, the seasons are going to become more regular, and there's going to be more and more seasons every year, and we're going to completely be, honing in on this season content and be making it as best as we can, which is what they've been stating in this update, or this developer update, Halo will be back. It will be back. It's just going to take more time. But I as much as I believe that the players will come back, because I know I will, you can't say that for everybody. You can't say that every player that has ever, played will be back. You just can't, because there's going to be new games out there. In a couple of months, like in next year, who knows? What if this game just starts feeling old now and you don't want to play it as much as you would want to? You know? Is that Halo Battle Royale going to be a thing? Is that going to come out? Will that revamp Halo? Will that bring it back? I don't know. I really, really don't know. Like I've said, this game is dead for now. It will be back. But 343 is going to have to suck it up for these next few months, because they're going to have just a dead game right there. And Microsoft is probably just, down their throats right now, up their asses, like, yo, why is our most popular exclusive game dead right now? Why is it dead? Why is nobody playing it? Why is, we trusted you to get it out in 2020 to go with the Xboxes, and you missed that. And it's been over a year. It's going to be over a year when Season 3 comes out, and it's barely coming out. Like, what's going on here? And you've had, like, pretty shitty seasons. You've been in the bad news forever. People don't like you. Your player, your player count is so low. No one even talks about this game anymore. Like, what are we doing? And I think that 343 definitely cannot afford for this to happen again. They truly, truly can't. If it does, you can probably make the argument, like, maybe take that game away from them. Maybe they're just incompetent to kind of bring, like, what we want into the game in a decent amount of time. The fact that they had to cut couch co-op split screen campaign, to me, I mean, honestly, I don't really play that much with my friends anymore on split screen. We just play online all the time. So that wasn't really like a thing that I desperately needed or even wanted, really. But how is that feature so complicated to put into a game? Like, how is that, like, why is that so hard to put in, or so time consuming to put into a video game? They've been doing that since Combat Evolved. What are we doing here? Like, that stuff is kind of like, you look at that and you're like, I mean, that's just straight up embarrassing. Like this doesn't look good at all on any front. This just looks sorry and candy ass. If you catch my drift. So yeah, I think I've laid it all out for you. My stance on this, I do believe that they are dead. Right now, they're dead to me. I have no interest in playing Halo Infinite at all right now. And to 343, that's the worst thing that they can hear. That's the worst thing that they can hear. And they should be ashamed about it. They should be ashamed. I shouldn't have to wait this long for content. I really shouldn't. But that's where they are right now. And look, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Course correct. Make me eat my words. Put out some banger seasons. Put out better guns, better maps. Put in a battle royale. Make it the best game that you can, like you did with MCC. But people don't want to wait this long. I don't care if you fully make a comeback. No, that's not the right thing to say. You can make a comeback, but I should not have to wait this long for you to make a comeback. I really, really shouldn't. And this can't be a reoccurring thing. We can't let you just half-ass a game out at launch and it be halfway complete, and then we have to wait like nearly 2 years for it to be complete or in a complete state, and have everything that we've kind of wanted at launch now nearly 2 years later. It's like, what the hell? What are we doing here? Like, why does this continue to happen? There's clearly a problem here that needs to be solved, and we haven't solved it yet. But yeah, it'll get better. But right now, it's going to stay dead. It'll remain dead for a few more months, at least, like, until this update comes out. It might grow back up again, but maybe not as much. We'll see. But for the meantime, Halo Infinite is dead. And it's going to stay dead until these updates start coming out. But anyways, enough of that. I think I'm going to end it there. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Remember, you could catch all these episodes of The Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Episodes drop every Thursday. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, review, share, do all that good stuff. Really helps out the podcast. If you have a suggestion, a topic, a request that you want me to cover or talk about, send me a DM, shoot me a text, whatever you want to do. And I'll consider it. I'll consider every topic for the show and see if it's show worthy. Again, thank you for listening and thank you for watching, and I will see you guys back next week.